Jazzcast Pros.
What does it look like if you want your home to be the home where everybody comes to, or your children or loved ones did come to your home, but now maybe they've aged up and aged out and have their own relationships, own families, and your house is not the place that they want to be for the holidays. That's real. And so I want you to, by the end of our couple minutes together, just know that it's going to be okay. Welcome to the Healthy Illness Podcast. I'm your host, Kelly Marie, and the Healthy Illness Podcast is all about helping you build healthier relationships while living with mental health conditions. Today's podcast is all about discussing when your home is not the home for the holidays. Big shout out to Jazzcast Pros and Jazzy T, the most incredible producer and friend. I appreciate you so much for continuing to push me and to make sure that I show up in this virtual space. And so by the end of our podcast, I want you to be able to understand that it's okay. That's it. It's okay. That's the goal. It's okay. And so what does that mean? We are in the midst of the holiday season. Thanksgiving is just behind us, but the rest of the year, including into the new year, there are several holidays, and we are kind of in this place of there's a lot of friction, there's a lot of tension in families around politics and just basic issues around humanity and what it means to be human, what and how we should be feeling about all the things that are happening, not just here in the US, but across the board. And that's showing up at family dinners. It's showing up at work parties. It's showing up. It's showing up. And so how do you manage in that space? And so instead of talking about all of the ways in which you can manage in this holiday season, I want to kind of bring it down and kind of shine a spotlight on one specific place within all of the relationships that are happening in your life to your home for the holidays. So your home might have been the place where people gather. Your home might be the place where you wanted people to come and gather. And again, it looks different for everybody, including what you celebrate and don't celebrate. I don't do Thanksgiving. And so I don't have no problem with Thanksgiving. People may have a problem with me behind Thanksgiving, but I don't personally celebrate it, nor do I. I mean, I accept plates. I'm not going to refuse no food, but I don't celebrate the holiday. And so, what does it look like if you want your home to be the home where everybody comes to for the holidays? How do you work? How do you live through the hurt feelings? I don't want to use the word trauma. That may be the issue for some folks, but I don't want to just haphazardly use that word. I want to be careful about the word usage. But, there may be some hurt feelings, some resentment, disappointment, feelings of abandonment because your home is not the home for the holidays. Folks are trying to travel and can't get home. You might have made a mean meal and people weren't able to show up because of the weather, because of the flights not taking off. Like there's so many reasons why your home may not be the home for the holidays. And how do you manage in that space? A couple things. I told you about my trainings that I've been going to around mindfulness and creating a more present space and living in what is, which is this moment, and not the anticipation of what something can be. Goal setting, long term plans, and desires, there's nothing wrong with those things. We need to plan for, our lives, but there's spaces that we can't control. And so we can't control who shows up. We can't control who wants to be there. We can't control what other people say or what other people do, right? We can't control if they brought the nasty, potato salad. Like we can't control what happens outside of who we are and what we do, because all we can control is ourselves. And I'm going to say that is going to be your greatest takeaway is no matter what's happening, no matter who's there or who's not there, you only control you. And so, how do you moves in this space when it is not ideal for you. It's not what you want. It's not what you saw for yourself. It's not the type of family that you wanted or the type of family that you worked to create, and it didn't work. Or it did work and it's changing again because kids grow up and they grow out. And what is that like to have to manage in that space? And so knowing that you only control yourself is key. I feel like if you have been with me for a while, you can kind of put together what I'm going to say next because it doesn't change. Like the list is still the same. Understanding that only you control you and you don't control anyone else. Understanding that people may be grieving in ways that you don't understand. And perhaps your house, which may have been a source of joy, no longer is for relatives and loved ones because of loss. COVID was incredibly huge. Many people died, and it changed family dynamics. Our current political environment has amplified and created more loss. In addition to that, has divided families along political lines, right? And so there may be some issues that families are dealing with, and your house is no longer the place that they feel comfortable. And so understanding that only you control you and you don't control the other folks that you want to participate, that you want to be in your home, is really your greatest source of growth. It's a place where you can take a step back and assess what's happening. Again, whether it is because you wanted that to be you want your home to be the place, or your home was the place and is not now. There's grief associated with that. There, again, can be abandonment and loss and resentment around your home no longer being that place. If you are like me, I'm single and have adult children who live their own lives. I don't celebrate Thanksgiving or really any other holidays. And so my house is never going to be the place to come to. It doesn't bother me because I don't celebrate those holidays. But that's me. It doesn't mean that there are not times and places that I want my house to be filled with my family and, Hallmark movie moment, everybody's around the big table and laughing and having a good time and talking and, passing the, plates and things like that. That is not something that is lost on me. I just know that in order for that to happen, I really have to become a different kind of person. And I'm personally not willing to do that. I would. I'm not gonna lie. I am willing to do it, but not every year. Like that's a lot. But I'm. You're hearing my thought processes as I'm literally having them. But listen, often tell you to make sure you're finding the joy. This time of year, it may be difficult to do that, but that doesn't mean you stop trying. This is a process, and life is a work in process in progress. Like each moment builds upon the previous moment. And so as you navigate this space and figure out one, again, you only control yourself, right? But what is it that you really want and need? Is it the human connection? Is it just want to have your kids in the same house with their family and their kids? You just don't want to be alone. What is the reason why you have an issue with your home not being the home for the holidays? Folks do have trauma that they perhaps have never shared with you. And now that they're in a position to make their own decisions, they're choosing not to be in a place that causes them hurt and harm. And you may not even be aware of it, right? It's life and that happens. You may want to be that place in space, but it's not conducive if perhaps everyone has moved away and it makes more sense for everyone to gather in another place. Are you unwilling to go to the other place, whatever that place may be, because the entire family or group of friends wants to celebrate in another way or in another space. It's also not always about you, right? And so I know that we tend to take on the weight and this embody, this it must be something I've done type of situation. And it's not always about you. It may just work better that your house is not it's not about your house, but it's about what works better for the group. And so you have to do that self work, like really look at the situation to figure out if that's what you want to do, figure out why your place is not the home for the holidays. But I encourage you to spend more time in the space of determining what your wants are, what your needs are, and why those wants and needs are important to you. From there, you can then figure out, like, is it similar to like a Galentine situation? So perhaps you and all your single friends get together and have a friendsgiving. That's an option, right? Do you create a new tradition? Be it traveling, be it, practicing gratitude on a different scale. There are things that you can do to help manage your time and space because your home is not the home for the holidays. I love me some therapy. And so if you're not in therapy, therapy may be the space for you, to really start digging into why this is an issue and why you are feeling the way that you feel about your home not being the home for the holidays. But also remember that, if you have healthy relationships with your family, they care about you and it's not meant to hurt, right? But there may be some extenuating circumstances that may also be none of your business as to why people are not gathering in your home for the holidays. And I encourage you to not only do that self work and self examination, but again, create new traditions. What's something you've always wanted to do? Has your home been the home for the holidays out of obligation? And so it felt like obligation and no one really wanted to be there anyways? Like that's not fun. That ain't cool. So what is it? What really is happening? Have you dealt with your grief and loss? If that is something that you have experienced. We often get caught up in our own feelings and don't realize that other people actually have feelings. They are human beings too. And they have feelings and thoughts and wants and desires just like you do. And sometimes those things don't align. When they don't align, that's why we're, in this current space. But I mean, don't take it personal because it may not be about you. If it is, if it is about you, again, ask why not, but not from an accusatory place or a place of guilt. Like, don't try and guilt people into coming to your home or spending time with you. But if you're genuinely interested in why folks do not want to come to your home for the holidays and spend that time in your space, ask, but be prepared for the answer, right? If you're asking a question because you don't have the answer, be prepared for what may come because it may be something you're not expecting and it may be something that actually may hurt your feelings, right? And so don't ask a question that you don't really want the answer to. And so I encourage you to do some self work first, figure out what your needs are, figure out what your desires are. Why do you want your home to be the home for the holidays? Why is it a bad thing for children to grow up and to celebrate the holidays and in other times with their friends and family? Why can't you travel, if that's the issue, to where everyone wants to get together? And whatever you come up with, you come up with, right? But I'm going to also offer that you invite peace into your heart, into your space, into your processes, grace into your heart, into your thoughts, into your processes. Because this time of year is difficult for many people. And we don't know what part we play in someone else's story. And the part we play may not be one of, the kind, loving, and gentle, mother or grandparent or friend or whatever. And it's a holiday season, putting a bow on our conversation today. I am drawn back to this notion that the way I say it has to be is the way it has to be, right? Like I am saying my house is going to be the house for Thanksgiving. I am saying we're going to have these things. I am saying that like it's a control piece that you might be struggling with. And so again, only you control you. You don't control the other folks and their thoughts and their issues and their desires. And so communication is so key to really finding the why if that is what you want. And communication tools are necessary in order to really have that conversation that you're looking to have. And so if you don't have those tools, if you are not a good listener, if you're not someone that, can sit there and be quiet and take in the reasons and process that and have a dialogue with someone, that's a space you need to work on. And more than the holidays that is an issue, right? So look outside of this instance, this moment, this Thanksgiving, this Christmas, this Hanukkah, this Kwanzaa. Look past this New Year's, right? And look at family events overall. What is it like for New Year's? What is it like for 4th of July? What is it like, right? Like, look past what's happening right now to better evaluate what's happening in your familiar relationships. And you may see some patterns there. Only you know. I don't know your business. And so I can't speak specifically to what you are going through. But I do know people and I do know relationships. And oftentimes communication is the core to whatever the issue may be. And so I encourage you to practice some relationship conversational skills, listening, truly listening, and hearing people and participating in the conversation for the sake of the conversation, not for the sake of you getting your point across. So, with that, I appreciate you coming with me on this journey. And, as we grow, we're growing together. Like, we are not who we were 4 years ago, 5 years ago, yesterday, even. Hopefully, we've learned something today that makes us a different person tomorrow. And so, I encourage you to stay on that path to find and figure out where the gaps are, where you can be a better you, and let me know if there's a topic that you would like for me to cover on the podcast. I appreciate you so much. And I want you to be happy and healthy and whole and finding joy. But I also know that may not be possible right now. So, whatever you're dealing with, if you need someone to talk to, if you're in crisis mode, if you're in danger of hurting yourself or having thoughts of suicide, please dial 988. They are there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, just to wait for your call. It is free of charge. It is confidential. They will ask you some questions to see if you're okay, so don't be surprised by that. If you are just looking for resources and this is not an emergency, you're not in crisis, you just don't know where to turn to for help, you can dial on your phone or go to 211 in your browser and it will lead you to your local 211 resource guide where you can, if you're online, look up places to go for specific issues. If you call, you can tell them what you're looking for and they can assist you directly. So I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you would like covered here on the Healthy Illness Podcast. And until next time, be the light.